fuck did you win that?
Skill?
I guess.
So how about them Gophers, huh?
Yeah, fuck you. Well, at least it wasn't as bad as back when we played Magic, yeah?
I suppose not.
Remember those days, man?
Not
Remember those
really.
days?
It's all haze.
Yeah. Oh, fucking. Hey, okay. I know I've told you this maybe, but have I ever told you the story about when I ended up stranded like 3 days away from home?
Don't think
Because
so.
of that goddamn game. Oh my god. Alright, so about 2 years ago, back when we played Magic. Fuck you. Anyway, back when we played Magic, we would have to go like basically 30 miles away in order to get to the nearest card shop. So we could basically get our cards, get the new cards and stuff like that. And they also had like Friday Night Magic, which was like this like weekly tournament thing. And you gonna play anything? You have anything to play? So we every Friday we would go over there. Not really every Friday, but a lot of Fridays we would go over there and like you went to a couple of them, right? Friday Night Magics, yeah. But I went to a lot of them. Mm-hmm. And when I would
You were a nerd.
when I would go over there, I mean I was really big into this game, right? I was really fucking big into Magic. I had a lot of cards. I would get more cards. People like, because for a while, like all of our friends played. What are you doing? Like a lot of our friends played, and when they had cards, eventually they'd be like, I don't want to play anymore. And I was probably way more serious about it than anyone else was. In fact, that's why I quit playing, is because I thought that no one else was as serious as I was, and then it kind of just ruined the mood amongst our friends and stuff like that. And anyway, so I don't have a car. And to get over there, I would basically ask if someone else wanted to play or something like that, give me a ride. I think one time I went over there with like just getting a ride for no apparent reason. But every time we went over there, I'd always have a ride home. But there's always a couple people from our town, you know what I mean, like that would be there so we could hitch a ride with them or something like that. You just never knew. Like, but there was this one weekend where like we were gonna go down. Remember that? Because we had a ride. We were gonna go on Saturday and probably maybe Sunday too. Probably not Sunday, but Saturday, because there were new cards that are gonna come out. And every so often, Magic cards come out, and probably like 4 times a year when they come out, the card shops have like these big things called pre-releases. Like there's this big event. They have a tournament. People can get the new cards early. It's a really cool thing. They wanted to go to that, and I wanted to go to Friday Night Magic. So I was going to go back and forth like 30 miles, taking drives and stuff like that, finding rides. And I think the night before, I think we had people over playing Magic. And so I got to bed at probably 2 o'clock or 2 or 3, like probably really late. And then I had the day off from my job, but I get a phone call asking to go in. So I would go in early in the morning, like way earlier than I ever do usually. And I basically spent have a tired day as a shift. And but that was back when we worked at Sky. We worked at Sky back then. And she had nothing going on. And she kind of owed me one because I think she was the one that called me in. So I'm like, hey, give me a ride to Grand Forks. And she's like, okay. And then I figured that at least somebody there would be from our town that could give me a ride home. Fuck, I gotta play something, don't I?
Bad move. Swingers.
Whatever. And then that night at Friday Night Magic was actually there wasn't that many people there, and I think to go when I was going there, I think I probably brought like a couple decks. I probably had like 20 decks back when I played this. I only played it for like a few months. I don't think I played it for a full year, but I had just tons of decks ready. And that was actually the reason why I wasn't that good at Magic, was because I had so many decks I couldn't pick which one was my best, and I couldn't pick which one to really get good with. But I go there for that night, and there's probably like 15 people playing, not very many, and no one from our town. But only 15 people playing means that I actually do the best I've ever done. I really like the way the deck was playing, stuff like that. I don't win the entire thing, but I think I probably placed higher than I ever did. And since I also didn't have a ride home saying, come on, we gotta go home, I don't want to stay here any longer, because after they have their main tournament in Standard, remember the Standard format kind of stuff, they have a draft afterwards. So they had, I don't know why I still know this, but like Innistrad, Dark Ascension, they had a draft right afterwards. I always wanted to try it out. I tried playing, like we'd done a few like really small drafts, but I never done a draft, like a real draft with 8 people playing, stuff like that. We do the draft afterwards, and then I basically realize I'm stuck. I'm stuck in this town. I'm gonna have to find a hotel. There's two guys that I kind of knew a little bit, and I think I talked to them more than anyone else, because I didn't really talk to anybody when I went there. I usually just kind of stuck with my friend that I went with. But there's two guys that from the city I was in that kind of knew where things were. And so I was like, hey, dudes. And I was really, I just thought maybe if I told them what was going on, they'd be like, no, it's fine. You can stay at our place. They didn't do that. So basically what they did when I said that I needed to find a hotel was, okay, we'll give you a ride to one of them. And I thought that there was a hotel nearby, probably like a couple blocks away, but we couldn't see it from like the parking lot or anything like that. So like, instead of driving within the vicinity of the card shop, which is kind of in like kind of like there's a bunch of businesses around it. They drive me back to downtown, which is like probably like I'm 2 miles away. About 2 miles away. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? find me a closer one, but I'm not gonna say anything because I'm kind of not in the very I'm kind of riding the victory a little bit. I'm riding the fact that I got to play more Magic than I ever did. And then plus I didn't have a lot of sleep, so I probably could have been talking to anything. And they take me to a downtown hotel. I didn't even know there was hotels downtown, but it looks really nice from the outside. And they're driving a silver car, and I kind of tell them like, okay, thanks for the ride, but do you guys want us to wait here until I can actually get a place, right? I'm like, that's fine, because they're pretty nice guys. And so I leave the car, and I'm walking into this hotel that I've never heard of before. I think I knew it was there, but I didn't really know it was there, because we go to that town a lot. Mm-hmm. It's kind of what people from our small town do. Is like, hey, let's go over there because they have a Walmart and a Target, and a Kmart.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, and a mall.
That's what I go for.
Yeah, exactly. And on this hotel, whatever it's fucking called, I have no fucking idea. There's two guys outside smoking cigarettes, and I'm walking. I got my hood up and stuff like that. I don't have anything in my hands, and they're the only guy. We're like the only people outside. So I walk by them and I basically say, what's up? And then, they just stare at me. One guy looks pretty tough, and he just kind of, looks at me all the way in. And the other guy you can tell that they're very wasted, very intoxicated. And apparently one guy just wanted to watch me as I walked inside this fucking hotel. Go in there, I go inside the hotel, and it's got, this really nice pool, which is pretty much going to be okay, great. So I walk up to the guy working at the register, and I ask him if he has any available rooms, and he pretty much says, no, we're booked solid. I'm like, fucking yes, I don't have to stay here. Because if they had a room, I'd probably have been like, okay, fine, I'll take it. So I thank him, I'm starting to walk back I'm walking back, and I'm like, okay, there's a car. And the two guys are still outside, and I walk outside and I start walking back. I'm like, I'm not going to say anything to them. I'm just going to walk right by them. And this guy that was kind of looked like the bigger asshole of the two is fucking still looking at me as I'm going. He's like, there he is. And then I just keep on walking. And then the guy's like, you know what? I'll be the bigger man. And so these guys, and then I just know it that these dudes didn't know each other probably 2 hours before that. But by then they were the guy got married probably as his best man kind of deal. He's like, hey man, you're pretty cool. I'll catch you later, man. You hit me up sometime or something like that. It was just fucking ridiculous. And the other guy goes inside. The other guy is, I don't know what he does. But I'm walking to the car. I knew they were driving a silver car. And then so I opened the passenger side rear door. And I knew that because I said I brought my decks and my cards and stuff like that. And I looked inside. I'm like, where'd they fucking go? And then I look in the front, and it's not the two guys that drove me. It's a lady. It's a girl. She's like, what the fuck? And then also the guy that wanted to fucking fight me is walking to the same car. It's his fucking ride. And then so I'm like, shit. I close the door. I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure they skeered away. Kind of drive away fast and stuff like that. And apparently another silver car went behind him in the exact same spot, and they pulled forward. And so I walk forward, and then I walk forward to the guys. I'm like, dude, you never would have said what happened. And then they're kind of like, yeah, whatever. It was just okay. So basically what happened was there's a guy that wanted to beat me up for evidently just walking wrong. And then I almost got in the same car as him.
That sounds like a sitcom.
It almost kind of does. and I don't really want to talk about it too much. I don't think I understand like how bad that could have been at the time. And then so I'm like, they don't have any rooms. And then it's like, okay, I'll take you to. Apparently, like in the city, they have like, and I didn't know this until then, but they have like 6 or 7 hotels like just like around each other. And then it's just there's nothing else there. There's probably like a Burger King like probably a couple blocks down, but there's like nothing but hotels in this area. So they dropped me off there, and there's like 3 or 4 of them. Like I said, and I'm like, okay, I'll be able to find one here. I'm like, thanks guys, see you tomorrow. And I go to the first hotel, and I said, okay, you got any rooms open? Because I don't really, I've never really had to get a hotel by myself before, especially like without any notice or like booking ahead of time. And apparently on a Friday night, because it's Friday Night Magic, in this city, it's very difficult to get a hotel room. Because I go to that first one, I'm like, do you have any rooms? They're like, no. I'm like, okay, I'll just walk like to your neighbor and ask them if they have any rooms. And there. And the next one, I don't know if there was 2 or another one or not, but basically, I'm not sure if I'm gonna get a room, so I have to go walk a little farther, and then I find a room, and I'm like, I'm just fucking exhausted. I'm like, okay, I can't, this is gonna be pretty cool though. I'm gonna be able to, basically stay here, walk to the card shop the next day, maybe, basically I'm cool with it, because I can walk to the card shop the next day. I wake up. I think they have like free coffee there, which is pretty cool. Like, and I want to say like my mom and like my mom wasn't home. I think like all my friends were working or out of town or something like that. It was like literally like the one thing that would have gotten me home would have been if someone from our town was at Friday Night Magic, and there wasn't. And so now I'm sitting in a hotel to myself, and I'm like, whatever. Tomorrow's gonna be really cool though, and it's about in the morning. I think everything gets started at noon. I take off at like 9 o'clock, and I had to walk fucking all across town. It was really fucking far away from the card shop. Like the card shop is kind of like it's like on that street that goes toward the north of town.
Right.
I was like pretty much to the east, but you know where that kind of like where that truck stop is.
Yeah.
A little bit. I had to walk, and then it takes me probably like an hour and a half to get there. It was like April though, because we were going for the Avison Restored release. You remember that? Yeah, fucking Avison Restored. So it was a spring release. It was like April, so the weather nice. I get there a little bit early, and then the ride that we had set up actually called me earlier because I could get there early enough to actually go to a gas station and sit down and eat something. And she's like, I'm fucking sick. I'm fucking really sick. I can't fucking make it at all.
I like that she said fucking 3 times.
Yeah. You get on soda, Bryce? You get on soda?
Getting low.
She basically says, I'm too sick. I can't get you there. I'm like, well, I'm already in Grand Forks. So I don't have to worry about anything. And then I'm like, but wait, fucking you. Don't worry about how you're gonna get there. And I'm like, does he really want to go though? He probably does. And I want to say I called you somehow, which is pretty difficult because you don't have a cell phone. And then and then it didn't seem like you wanted to go. But then all of a sudden, probably 10 minutes before everything starts, because we said because the card shop opened at like noon. And we didn't get started probably until 1:30. And probably at 1:45, a quarter after 1, you're like, okay, I'm coming. And
did I get a ride then?
Yeah, I think your dad gave you a ride or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. And then while we get there at the shop, they're actually selling the starter decks. Remember the fucking starter decks?
Yeah.
The starter decks for the new cards, for the Avison Restored cards. And they're trying them out and stuff like that. And I'm like, cool guys. I'm fucking tired. Cause I'm still kind of a little bit, because the guy who drove me there, the guy that decided that, and I'm sure he had he wanted the best for me. I'm not gonna give you a crappy one. I'm gonna give you a nice one. But he wasn't there. He wasn't there. But I would have been like, so those are the only hotels in town, kind of deal. But I wasn't too mad. I mean, what else could I have done?
Right.
I mean, I was kind of like, if I don't find a hotel, I had to sleep in Walmart. You gonna play some, Bryce?
Oh,
I don't mind whatever I have to pay for a hotel, I guess, was it. And plus, I don't want to be like, hey, thanks for the ride. I'm not gonna stay here. And I think like, and then while they're
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just.
for not knowing what you're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
And so they're trying out the new cards, and I know, and like as a Magic fan, you know what the cards are before they come out. 100%. Like
you've already made decks.
Yeah, you've already seen that. Like, oh man, this card's gonna be so cool and stuff like that. This card be so. And for Avacyn Restored, they had 2 new Planeswalkers. They had Tybalt and Tamio. Remember, Tybalt was like the devil guy, the red one, and then Tamio was the blue one.
He dropped in price really fast.
Yeah, he never was really good. But he was like the cheapest in terms of mana cost.
Yeah.
If I remember, goddamn.
Like 2
but,
2 red.
Something like that.
Mana burn.
Yeah. It's good thing they'll play. God, fuck it. And so I've seen some of the new cards, and they're playing with starter decks, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, starter decks. Whatever, give me to the real stuff. And it's a sealed deck tournament. The way that pre-releases go is that they have sealed deck tournaments. And sealed deck tournaments, they give you 6 booster packs, and then you have to make a deck of 40 card deck. It's 30. So 30 or 40.
40.
And it's just 40.
For opening 6 packs, it's 40.
Yeah. A 40 card deck with those ones. So it's really cool. So you end up with basically not everyone gets all the same cards. A lot of it's based on what kind of stuff you get. You have to kind of figure out things. But Avacyn Restored I thought it was okay for drafting. I know a lot of people didn't like it because like there wasn't a whole lot of good cards.
Yeah.
But I thought the strategies and deck types were at least from day one, pretty evident, you know.
Like red, white humans, I like that.
Yeah, that was pretty obvious. And then, anyway, so one of the starter decks was actually like a black, red, like a demon one that I didn't really think much of. But when we got our cards, if you recall, we sat down places. I think, like, because the card shop was packed. That's what the card shop. Mm-hmm. Used to be a lot smaller. Remember the Darkest Dungeon pre-release?
Yeah.
That was horrible. They had
sitting in a draft.
Yeah. There was like it's probably as big as this fucking room. It seems like that fucking shop.
No,
it's bigger.
Yeah.
It's not very big though. They don't have much sitting space. And so with so many people, because Magic was getting really big.
Did that at the old location?
Yeah.
Okay.
Magic was getting really big back then. And they ended up putting all of us in this little basement.
It was a big basement.
It was a big basement.
Yeah.
It was a big basement, but
really
it looked like somebody's. It looked like somebody's basement.
Yeah.
It looked because it had like old like dartboards and like a bicycle. I swear to God, there's a yeah. That's right. So the new spot was a lot better, and no one had to sit in the basement, but it was still packed that day. To the point where I don't think that you got to sit by us. I think there's only one open spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the cards come out, and I'm pretty sure that the first pack that I open, I get the most expensive card. That was the most expensive card in the set. No, Tamio wasn't the most expensive at first, I don't think, or the second most. Because remember that blue miracle card?
Yes.
Yeah, I want that. Gave you an extra turn.
Knowledge pool.
What?
Knowledge pool. No. That was a fun one.
Yeah. It was. I got that card. I got that mythic red card that I knew was worth like $40, and so I think like the price of admission is like 20 or something like that.
And so, do you sell it?
I don't recall.
No.
But so basically, I'm like, oh sweet, I get $40 card. My money back. I almost paid for my hotel room.
That's how it was with the booster boxes. Yeah.
Also in the cards, I also ended up getting Tybalt, the Planeswalker, who was worth like $15. So I basically got 2 of the 4 most highest price cards.
I'm pretty sure you got a Tamio as well.
That was the day after.
Oh no, you got a Tamio with when we opened up all those booster boxes.
No, I ended up getting for the record, I ended up getting 2 Tamios.
And one was foil.
One was foil. I didn't get the foil one until the weekend after. Weekend after. So I guess that's like I do make it back. I do eventually leave that city and make it back home. But because the same deal applies. I don't have a ride back on this day. And because there's another day of a tournament the next day, because there's a Saturday and a Sunday. And on that Saturday I end up getting like these the cards I end up playing with end up being almost exactly like that starter deck I saw playing. You know, like a black and red kind of deal.
That's a legal move.
It's fine. So you're gonna win anyway. Who gives a shit?
Huh?
You're gonna win anyway. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, you could win.
Whatever.
I've been at one card and lost.
Speaking of winning, this deck that I played, and apparently I found out that a sealed deck, if you play a starter deck, is pretty fucking good. Because I was doing a lot of neat shit with that one. I was doing so much neat shit that I actually felt bad for this punk ass. Not punk ass.
Stupid ass piece of shit.
Yeah. It was this little. It was this kid. It was
That's even worse.
It was this
Punk ass little bitch.
It was this kid. But okay, listen. He was like. I thought he was like 16. I thought he looked like he was 16, but he was this kid, and he looked like he was afraid of everything. Like, and he was playing, and he had like this really crappy deck that like everybody else was kind of playing, but he was playing it way worse. He was trying to play like a green-white angel deck, and everything was just really expensive, and he had like one card that was doing 8 damage. And because I think it's 2 out of 3.
Yeah,
it's just still 2 out of 3 in a sealed deck tournament. That's all I gotta do in this game. And what we had to do to Magic is not what I did this day, though. So I'm playing this like a red-black deck that I really I like a lot.
He's getting serious.
You can't do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Playing this red-black deck. It's this crappy like angel piece of shit deck, and I'm just kicking his butt. And then for some reason, I think it actually beats me. Somehow, because I don't know.
Out of 2 out of 3.
Yeah, like in Magic, sometimes I find myself like that. I'll have either I have better cards and I play worse, or I have worse cards and I play better, and then I lose because of the cards.
Oh.
You know, it was weird when I went to these tournaments. You know, I always thought that I was. Because I kicked your guys' butts all the time. If I played certain decks, no one could have beaten me. No one could beat me, but that's also because I put way more of myself into the game than anybody else did. Yeah. Way more. But then when I went to the next step, I would just kind of either lose or I was always about really small decks, because the reason why I played Magic is because I really enjoy the fact that, Magic has all these gigantic things, they have like these like Hydras and Behemoths and stuff like that, but sometimes they can be beaten by goblins and a dude with a sword, which I think is just awesome.
I love that it would be a card. Dude with a sword.
Dude with a sword. I just think that to me is awesome, because it was kind of scary going into it, because the guy that taught us how to play had been playing for a couple months, and he was a green, like playing green cards that had like these huge like monsters and stuff like that.
Who taught you guys?
Topher.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Who taught him?
Matt.
Okay.
I wonder who taught him.
Oh, shut up. I opened a can of worms.
And I was afraid of Topher's decks, because he's like, here's my dragon deck, no one can beat it, and I beat him. I beat him with they call it a white weenie deck. So the white weenie deck, I was always kind of big into that. I always want to be like, I'm gonna play a white weenie aggressive deck. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna play that. That's the kind of style I play. But only surprisingly enough, that doesn't fit my playing style at all. Or either that, or so. Actually, I heard a really cool quote that says a control deck has to make less big decisions than an aggressive deck.
Yeah.
And that makes a lot of sense to me, because on an aggressive deck you have very little whatever. So I'm playing this goddamn kid who I thought was 16. Now it's like a statutory rape thing. I thought he was 16, but I thought he was like 16, but he was like, oh god, I'm losing, and his deck just sucked. His deck was really bad. And then when I beat him big. I don't know how he beat me the second time. I think he had like an angel, like a 5/5 angel. And I'm like, oh, I can't do anything about that, because that happens in draft sometimes.
That's Sigurd. Or whatever.
No, I don't think was that card even in?
5/5 green white angel.
I don't know.
Because
it wasn't. I wasn't specific. He might have had that card. Because
because it was a green right deck, he probably had Sigurd.
It's possible, because a lot of times in Magic they end up especially for little kids or just people in general, if they get a really nice card, no matter whatever kind of cards they're seeing in the draft or in the sealed deck, they'll be like, I'm using this card, I don't care what it fucking takes.
That's the foundation.
That's it. I'm gonna do this.
I was lucky
so I'm guessing he probably had that green white mythic angel and then just made it work.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing he got it out for whatever reason.
I was lucky enough that I drafted the red white angel.
Yeah, that was actually the only good one.
Huh? I had Gibson as well.
Yeah, exactly. You had Avison, and then you had
I had Cavernous Hills as well.
Gisela was her name?
Gisela, yeah.
Yeah, Gisela. Yeah. Oh, I remember seeing you playing that night, because you ended up being the last game of the. Anyways, just being the last game of the round, because you'd have different rounds in these tournaments. Then we were the last game of the round, and this kid, was kind of trying to get it started, but I ended up. What was it, Reaver of
Souls?
Reaver of Souls or something? I don't remember what it was called. Yeah.
Red?
No, it was black.
Okay.
It was just really, and I basically did this really cool stuff. And these guys that I kind of saw on the outside, because I went to Friday Night Magic. Like when I went to Friday Night Magic in this other town, like I always kind of saw the guys that have been playing for a while and knew each other, and like say, hey, you want to go get something after the words and stuff like that. I'm like, that'd be pretty cool to get to know them.
Yeah.
Because for one, they're better than Magic than I am. It'd be nice to kind of get with them so I can get better and stuff like that. And plus, they seem like pretty cool guys. And so a couple of them are actually around. And this was back in the day where I used to do some weird shit, like some really weird shit when I played games. Like I would lose intentionally, and that's gonna lead into what I did.
I think I
was hiding. And I end up, and this kid, I'm gonna beat him. I'm gonna beat him. And I beat him in a really neat, cool way. And the goddamn look on his face was just so like I felt pity for him. I honestly felt pity for him. And then I'm like, I concede after I beat him. So after and then we're the last round of the last game of the round, so everyone's waiting for us, and I win. I say, okay, I give up. Doesn't look very good.
Yeah.
And then eventually I see that kid's mom's come in, and I'm like, holy fuck, he's like 12. He's like 12. So in fact, that actually did him a bad. I actually did not do a good thing for him. So I taught him that losing is winning, because he's like, really? Wow! And then he's like, Mom, I won! Mom, I won! Kind of shit.
How'd you win? He gave up.
Pretty much, man. That's how it goes. Sorry.
All right. Thank you, Bryce, for setting this up. You have 3 kids.
Oh, fuck.
Oh.
Alright, deal again. We're playing the same fucking game?
Sure. Why not?
Whatever. So basically, what a better way for me to be like, okay, I want to be like you guys, than to have them all sitting around seeing the game, and then I'm like, all right, okay. It was one of the strangest things I've ever done, to be honest. Just straight up, one of the strangest things I've ever done. Okay, and then about that time, I think I don't even come close to placing. Neither do you. I don't think, right? And then the tournament starts winding down, and I think the winner actually plays like a green-blue deck that was around, but he had like this crazy way, and then he basically, if you got a certain card, he won automatically, especially in sealed deck.
Yeah.
So it's pretty hard to beat him. But then afterwards, did you get a ride home for your dad or something like that? I'm guessing you did. Did you have them come? No. Someone else came and picked you up, but they were going somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they weren't going back home, so I was kind of just like, okay, whatever, I'll stay in another hotel. And I knew that on Sunday my mom would be able to pick me up at the very least. I could be like, Mom, come get me! Where am I? Kind of shit. And after the tournament, they were like, okay, who wants to stick around for a cube draft? And it was my turn. The last game went this way. Not this way. Anyway.
About the 12-year-old.
Okay, thanks. But I'm kind of past that. We're playing a cube draft. If you don't know what cube draft is at all, it's basically you make your own booster packs. You do in a draft, you play with booster packs, and then everyone passes on the same booster packs, and then you pick one card from that booster pack each time, make a deck out of it. In cube drafts, somebody makes their own booster packs out of 12 just crazy cards, and you end up with these crazy decks, and it's kind of neat. No one really takes it that seriously. No one gets upset, at least.
Yeah.
I'm like, real Magic the Gathering, in which they get mad sometimes. So I'm having a good time with this cube draft too. Whatever, I'm having a decent conversation with people, but then the guy that brought the cube, that's what they call the cube, that brought the cards that we were playing with, had to go pick up his in-laws at the airport. And he kind of said it just like that. So he left early. And then I'm like, okay, is anyone else in-laws play something like that? And then they basically, no, we're closing the card shop right now. Which is fine. Because, they don't really stay
They
open.
say it like that?
No.
Okay, so they didn't decide, get the fuck out of here!
But it's basically we're just going to close up, And so I'm like, okay, alright, that's fine. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to see if there's a hotel closer by. Because like I said, I'm stuck in town again.
Yeah.
Then I walked to a gas station and I grabbed something to eat. Again. I ate at gas stations a lot when I played Magic. I ate at a lot of gas stations. And I started, because it's across the street, and then I started walking, and I just decided I'm just going to walk this way and see what I see. And so I keep on walking. Then eventually I'm like, I was right, there is a hotel right there. There's a small motel, and I'm like, I bet she has some openings, but I'm going to go check. Might as well, because it's so close to the card shop. It's probably like 3 blocks.
Yeah.
Which is really funny, because I'm going to cross town. I'm going to cross town to get my first hotel, and then now there's one right there. And I'm just walking, and I go there, and I ask them, do you have any rooms open? And they're like, is it just you? And I swear to God, the guy was probably just like his bathing robe. I thought the guy was, like, just thinking about it now, I think the guy was actually in his bathing robe.
Like,
or at least he might as well have been.
The way you described it made it sound like he was just giving me the crazy eyes. It's like in bathrooms, like, it's just you.
But he was nice enough. But
Yeah.
it was one of those hotels that the guy lived in. Like, it had a house and then hotels around it. And they had a room. They gave me like an old-fashioned key, which I haven't seen in a long time at a hotel. They didn't have key cards. They just had
Skeleton
keys.
key?
What's that?
Skeleton key or not?
No, just a key.
Oh, okay, not that old.
Yeah. I think they gave me 2. I think they gave me 2 keys for some reason. I could be wrong
In case
about
you
that.
lose your one.
Yeah. And I go in there, and it's good enough. It's good enough, and it was like 1/3 the price of the hotel that was farther away. I'm like, this is perfect. I did it.
An inexpensive adventure.
You know, pretty much. That's pretty much exactly what I was saying. And okay, going back to it, I get to the hotel, and the hotel's basically like a bed. It's basically like a big bed. It's like a big bed. It's got a TV and it's got a bathroom. That's all we fucking need for a night. And then I said, okay, all right, I might as well take my gas station supper and sit down at the.
Actually, sounds like a good time.
Because you know I walked a lot. I've been walking a lot and walking a lot. I've been playing Magic the Gathering a lot, and it was just kind of one of those days where I just want to sit down and sleep. I decided that while I'm enjoying myself, I'm pretty sure I turned on some kind of sporting event. And I was like, I'm gonna look at my new cards again, because that's the entire point of why I'm there. I'm like, I want to play Magic and also get these new cards. And then I'm looking at it, and I'm looking through because I had a backpack. I had a plastic sack. I didn't even bring a backpack when I played Magic. I brought a plastic sack for some reason, and so I'm looking at this plastic sack, and I'm like, okay, here are the cards that I brought. Like a long time ago, a day ago, that's fine. And then here's missing something. I am because I put all the new cards except for like 3 or 4 of them. I think for something like whatever, like except for like 3 or 4 of them, I put them in this little deck box I used to have a lot of. They're like these like plastic deck boxes that were different colors, and I put mine in a brown one. Put all my new cards in a brown one. It had like yellow sleeves. God. It had yellow card sleeves, if you remember those at all. And I wasn't there. I'm like, oh god. And it wasn't like I could check other pockets.
Yeah.
And I was like, all I have is a plastic sack, and I'm like, okay, I probably dropped it. I really doubt that anyone would pick up
some weird box.
Right. And I just like checked in. So it only like probably like 10 minutes away. So I walk all the way back to the card shop. But for some reason, when I walk to the card shop, the first thing I want to do is, I wonder if it's still there and still open. Because I didn't think they talked about closing, but it seemed really early for them to close. I'm going to go there and see if they're open. I walk, but the first time I walked on the east side of the street sidewalk, the second time I walked back on the west side of the street for some reason. Because I'm just making great decisions today. So instead of like doing 2 things at once and checking where I was walking, where I'd walked before, I walked on the other side of the fucking street and then walked to the card shop because I'm like, I gotta get there in time. And then it was like, oh, they're closed. They probably closed like right after I left. I'm like, okay, they're not okay. So if it's there, I can ask them about it tomorrow morning, and then they'll be fine. Whatever. I'm flipping out a little bit though because like it's basically like at least $20. Okay, that makes sense. Like it's the reason why I'm there.
Yeah.
It's like basically like beyond money purposes. That was why I was even dealing with that shit. Was so I can get these cool new cards and have a cool time. I had a cool time missing the cool cards.
Yeah. I just got them.
What's that? So I'm kind of flipping out because I don't have any of my cards. Any of the new cards, and I'm like, okay, did I drop them somewhere? What if I dropped them somewhere? And what if like they just roll off the sidewalk? I mean, I'm like, it's dark out. You can't look in the dark. So then I'm tired to the point where I just like fall asleep.
Oh, that's
like, yeah. Next morning I wake up and I think the bathroom is clogged. I think.
Oh no! They flushed your cards out the toilet.
Then I call up to the front desk and I'm like, hey, I think something's wrong with the drain. And then he's like, okay, I'll come look at it. I'm like, are you staying an extra night? And I'm like, no, because it's Sunday. I'm definitely going home on Sunday. And then it's a little bit later out, but I'd already kind of checked where I'd walked, but not very well.
Yeah.
Kind of deal.
They went to the west.
I get some breakfast. I go back, and then the first thing I pretty much do is that I put my stuff down. I'm like, okay, how am I going to address this? I don't want to make it seem like I'm trying to take someone else's cards, because the weird thing about Magic the Gathering players is that they're all kind of suspicious of each other.
Yeah.
For like everything. They're all think for like, oh man, like, oh my god, I dropped my card on the ground. Who took it? Kind of shit. And I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like.
Anyone like that?
Well, it's in the tone of their actions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got that kind of shit. Like it's with everything.
Right.
With everything, and that might be a problem some places, but it's not a problem for where we live.
Yeah.
Which is nice. But I didn't want to accuse anybody of stealing it. I just figured that I left it there. And if I didn't leave it there, my next thought was that I dropped it on the way to the hotel. So I go up to their front desk and I'm like, so my cards, don't have them. And they're like, oh man. And they were just very sympathetic and genuine about it. It's really nice. And I was like, okay, they're in a brown deck box. That's exactly what I said. I said deck box on it. If anything turns out, please tell me. You're fine. There's only... And then the same thing that happens the day before happens the day after on Sunday. It's a sealed deck tournament. I see my buddies there. I see kind of the people that I kind of know a little bit, kind of there, and some people are there too. Some people are not there. You're not there for one. So I think I'm the only person in town. Again, for like the third straight fucking day, I'm the only fucking person that from our town that went to this fucking Magic thing.
Yeah.
But every other time I went to Friday Night Magic, there was like 2 or 3 others that I could have been like, yo, can I get a ride from? But this fucking weekend, there's nobody, just fucking me. God, it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Then I start telling the story about losing them. I look around the store a little bit, don't find anything. And keep in mind that I am wearing the same clothes all 3 days. Not only am I wearing the same clothes, I'm carrying around a plastic sack. A plastic sack where I'm keeping a lot of cards in. And
nothing.
No, there's something else in there. I'll tell you about that later. So I look like I'm kind of a mess. Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And then... Not only do I look like a mess, but I'm behaving like a mess.
Yeah.
Because I'm like freaking out. I'm like, I don't need my cards back. Looking at it, just like really looking at it though, like, is it really that important? No. Because like I said, you go to a Magic event for 2 reasons. You go to a pre-release for 2 reasons. One, to hang out with people. Because for one, they actually gave out stuff. Remember that? They had the vault thing.
Yeah.
That they opened up and they gave out like D20s to everybody.
I still have a giant card.
And then a giant cards to people too. Yeah, it's kind of neat, And plus, they get to go around with everybody, and then they actually give you they give you mingling excuses, like go meet somebody you haven't talked to before, find somebody who's this or that, do this in a game, do that in a game.
Right, like an achievement.
Yeah, and then if you do that, you get to turn in for like a cookie.
That's
basically what it was. It wasn't very much, but it's cool. They did a lot of cool stuff. And I really like that card shop a lot. They had good people there.
Mm-hmm.
Good people because they put up with my ass. Let me tell you that. And then I think I actually go back like a half hour later for some reason. Like, did anyone turn them in yet? I don't know why I'm so goddamn fucking worried about these things.
Yeah.
Because they're just cards, to be honest. And that day I actually have a better day. I have a better day of getting cards. I get the most expensive card,
The
the Tamio, yeah, and then also have enough cards that I can build 2 decks. Because you can do that in sealed deck. You can have 2 separate decks, and it can actually sideboard into the next one. Yeah. So, I started doing that. I started out, I think I started out with a green-blue deck, but I also have a red-white human deck.
Yeah.
And then I tried the green-blue one out because I have Tamio, who's a blue planeswalker. I want to get her out, and I also want to be like the guy who won the day before, so I'm just gonna copy him. But I had way better white and red cards.
Yeah.
You know. So I ended up like switching most games when I played. I ended up starting with the green-blue one and then switching to the red-white one.
Yeah.
Like after sideboarding, and then win with that one, which was pretty funny. And I actually have a much better day in terms of play. I think I ended up getting like 5th. I think there's like 20 people there, like at 5th or 6th. But anyway, I guess I got some. I actually won PAX that day, and I got the best card. And to top it all off, in like a 3rd or 4th round, I end up playing this guy. Remember how I talked about like they had like kind of like a group of like locals at the card shop? Yeah. You know what I mean? There was one guy that I like knew for a goddamn fact had some kind of problem with me. Because when we played, I think we played like a month before earlier, and I made a really, really bad and eager playing choice. Like I had the game won, and I basically like, if we were playing poker, I would have it would have been a tell kind of deal.
Yeah.
Like I fucked up really badly and lost the game because of that. And he was like, whatever, you're some kind of lame new player, don't like you, piece of shit. Get out of my fucking place, kind of deal. He's just a dick. He's only a dick to me too, because like the worst kind of people in my opinion, not the worst kind of people, but like to me, personally to me, is I don't like it when people are like dicks to me, and then I see them being nice to somebody else.
Yeah.
That's just like a straight up one, like, okay, what is your problem with me? What is your fucking deal? Right. Kind of deal. Just talk to me, man. This guy wouldn't talk to me. I end up getting matched up with him. I'm like, oh, fucking great, Sim. When I play people in Magic in IRL, not in IRL, but IRL, I always try to have a conversation with them a little bit. Talk to them, ask them how their day's going, talk to them, you know. I've had some pretty good ones. I've had some really weird ones, too. But, from my end. And what ends up happening is I get matched up with this guy, and I try to talk with him, and then at this point, I've been walking around. I think kind of everyone may or may have not have known that I lost my cards. I think they talked. They were like, "Anyone's seen cards?" Because they were really fucking nice about it. They're like, "Has anyone seen a brown deck box? This guy lost his cards." They're like, "No, haven't seen him. It sucks though." Kind of deal.
Yeah.
And this guy was like, I don't think those cards are ever going to turn out, because you know what I was doing on that Sunday?
What's that?
Between rounds, I was walking back and forth that little 3-block stretch, and I started asking the businesses on that 3-block stretch if anybody had turned in a small brown plastic box full of cards. I did not use the word Magic the Gathering once when I asked these places, so I would go in there, and sometimes they would take it pretty seriously. They'd be like, let me go check. And they'd be gone for like 3 minutes and be like, no, I haven't seen him. I'd be like, there's no, like, and then I started checking sewers. I checked every single fucking sewer. Not like in the sewer.
Yeah.
But like I would walk up to the sewer and be like, maybe it got stuck in there. Maybe it's, you know, it was. And then I would always also, I had my bag of stuff. I would leave my bag of stuff there while I walked. I didn't want to take it with me.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically because I didn't want people to think that I thought that other people took it.
Yeah.
I didn't want people to think that. I don't want people to think that people stole my cards, because I didn't want that at all.
Yeah.
So I'm like, here you go, guys. I'm so trusting. Here's everything I got right now. And then so I'm going back, and I don't find it again. I'm like, you know what? I don't think those cards are ever gonna turn up. And he's like, yeah. And I beat him. I fucking beat him that day.
And how did he react?
He fucking John the shit out of it.
Oh.
Yeah, he fucking, like, a John Bryce is when a person makes an excuse. It's basically it's either an excuse based on something dealing with them, or it's an excuse about something else.
With the cards.
Whether or not it is actually like effective, I guess you could say. Doesn't matter. It's still a John.
Yeah.
And he fucking Johned the shit out of it. He's like, if I was waiting for this card, that fucking thing beat me. And I wanted to like jack off on the table. I was so fucking excited. I wanted to be like, yeah, whatever, man. But I was just kind of like, okay, I won. Because that's what you do after you win a Magic tournament. You walk up in front and be like, I won.
GG.
Yep.
So you didn't say GG? You didn't just like...
No, I think I said good game, and then I walked away.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Because I didn't want to deal with it, because he not only didn't talk to me, when I tried to talk to him, he didn't talk back. But it was fucking amazing to beat him.
It's like, this sounds like a sports movie.
Yeah, because I want to say I came back from like he won the first game, and then I won the next two.
Yeah.
So I was pretty excited. And then of course afterwards I'm like, leave my stuff here, go out, check sewers, and ask the poor managers of like a pizza shop, like, hey, brown box, you seen it?
Yeah, we got brown boxes. We got a lot of them.
And then, and by the time I start and then I started rechecking back with their little cashier.
Yeah.
And by that time they're like, no one's fucking turning it. Shut up. So I was actually so pestering about it that I made it so that like very gracious. So I made it that like very kind people were like, just leave us alone. They're not gonna fucking find it. But at the same time,
so they actually got irritated with you.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Why would they?
Yeah.
And I ended up playing one of the guys in the last round one of the guys that gave me a ride to the hotel that first night.
Yeah.
He ended up playing him in the final round, and he beats me. He has like this pretty decent deck, and then he was like really excited about it too. He'd been playing Magic way longer than I had, and that was his best finish too. And then so I was like, okay, maybe I shouldn't feel so bad about this kind of stuff.
You were part of a magic moment.
Mm-hmm.
This magic moment. Sorry.
Then so after the tournament's over, I'm like, okay, I don't have to play another round, so I can just go check. So I go check everywhere. I go all the way to the hotel and back, looking places here and there. And I'm like, it's gone. Because the entire time I actually, not only did did not want to give the wrong message that I was like pointing fingers at people, but I actually didn't think about it.
Yeah.
I actually didn't think that someone would like, honestly, like, for some reason, my cards, unless they saw that, like, oh my god, he's got what was it called? Like time reversal or something like that?
Yeah,
remember that kind of card?
Time,
yeah.
Upheaval, something.
Oh, no. It was temporal something.
Yeah, temporal mastery.
Temporal mastery, yeah. Which at the time was worth $40 or something like that. So I'm like, I'm gonna just take these from my ship. I didn't think that at all. I get back to the card shop. Because I'm just like worrying the shit out of it, I'm just not in the best mindset at all.
Yeah.
Like oh my god. At least I had a ride home. At least I knew I had a ride home.
Who was your ride home?
Topher.
Topher.
Because Topher was out for the weekend. He was coming back, so I bought him a starter deck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, as compensation. That's what I do.
He was like just immediately willing to take you, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I was going to say.
But he was out of town though.
Yeah.
He was out of town those other 2 days or something like that. And plus, I didn't really want to leave. Because I didn't want to leave because I didn't know if I could get right back.
Right.
That's kind of so. It's not like I was like it was kind of like I was stuck, but I was also sticking myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of deal.
Maybe you like mentally just like left your thing there, left your like into your box so you can be stuck in Grand Forks for longer. It's like I can't leave. I don't want it.
But I get back and they actually take my plastic bag and they put it behind their little glass display of cards.
Yeah.
Where everything's safe. Oh yeah, we found our stuff. We put it here. That plastic bag had like a bunch of bottles in there because I would get a drink.
Oh.
And then I would get a drink and then I would be like, oh, I'm just going to recycle this when I get home. So I put it in the bag. So this bag is full of Magic cards, Magic the Gathering cards, and empty bottles. Well, this is great. Should I be ashamed? Should I? I don't know if I should or not. And then they also said, you earned 2 booster packs for replacing whatever you placed.
Yeah.
And then we all felt bad about you losing your cards, so we all pitched in. We got you this, and they got me like 5 booster packs.
Oh,
like
that's
that.
nice.
5 of the obviously restored booster packs, which weren't even being sold yet.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh my god, thank you, this is great, and then I get a ride, and I tell Topher the story of the ride home on the way back.
Yeah.
And it takes me like a half hour. I won't even finish all of it, that kind of deal.
And
then,
did you end up being good in those quizzes? Just out of curiosity.
I don't want to be mean, so I'm not gonna say.
Okay.
I don't want to say.
So probably.
I definitely didn't get Planeswalker and the Temporal Nest.
Okay.
Let's just say that. And at the time, that was like cards are cards.
Yeah.
These things are new. I'll take it. I'm not gonna disagree with it or anything.
So I'm gonna these cards are shit. Thanks.
Yeah.
Just throw them all over the floor.
Right. God. I'm surprised I didn't do that, to be honest. But I'm like, thanks everybody, and I'm like, okay. And then
Thanks everybody. Fuck you, John.
I still know his name too. I still don't know that guy's name because everyone called each other by their first names. It wasn't like, "Are you so and so kind of deal?"
I think I just have to call him John from now on.
The actual cards come out it's like a midnight release on a Thursday or Friday, like the week after or something like that, or maybe like on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
And so Topher gives me a ride over to Grand Forks to get the Avacyn Restored cards. And then their credit card machine's down because the internet's down all over the city.
Oh.
So people can only pay with cash, and all I bought was my card. So I couldn't get that. So I had to wait for a couple days later when I went down there. I think, dude, I went to Friday Night Magic and the set release, not the pre-release, but the set release game they had on the Saturday. But anyway, when I went there that Wednesday night to get the cards, the first thing the guy does when he sees me, the owner of the fucking store, when he sees me, is he slams down a brown deck box. And he says that, I guess what happened was that some guy was that was at the Cube Draft actually thought that somebody was trying to steal his cards. And then so it's like, give it back to me. And then he realized later that it wasn't his, and so he just turned it back in, which is pretty cool. He could have been like, guess I just made off with a little bit of profit, kind of deal. So, but he was cool with that. I'll give him that.
He was no John.
And then I ended up playing a lot lately, and then like a month later I quit. And then a month later I quit the game entirely. But I
all your cards. Does he still have them?
Little Abaddon still has my cards that I had.
Let's go beat him up and take them back.
But I always look at that weekend for two things. One is that I never had any sometimes it's just gonna work out that way,
Yeah.
Sometimes if you go in there without very finite and secure options of transportation, you might just end up having to find a hotel.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. I also definitely confirmed that the car shop was right next to a hotel. I probably wasn't always gonna have openings because I think it was one of the quote unquote crappier hotels, but it's fine. But the one thing that I really take away from that weekend was that sometimes just because people in general think that trying to fix something is going to be good enough to fix it, but sometimes those efforts to fix it actually just render it completely just shitty, By trying to find my cards, I made myself look like I was stupid, conniving, and just kind of messed up in general. I've always, and that's something that I even try to do nowadays. Is that it just if I think something's wrong, I'm not going to focus myself on I gotta get better, I gotta do this, gotta do that, I just gotta let things roll sometimes,
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta sit back. Sometimes you gotta sit next to some crunch berries, Sometimes you gotta do that.
Brett?
Is it my turn?
Mm-hmm.
So I just fall asleep. And for the record, there was in terms of things to find on the bottom of your hotel room floor, one of the weirder reactions to get is when you find a fucking crunch berries. crunch berries on the hotel room floor. I mean, it's fine. It's just crunch berries, but you assume it's some sort of feces at first. The hotel's not bad. It's just cheap. And that's okay. And it was like, what is that? I'm like, okay, don't worry. It's just crunch berries.